Hey, this is Tears of Skovrane, and we're back with some
Hey,
more Bonds playtesting, which I'm excited about. Um, yeah, take it away, David. What's going on? What are we doing?
yeah. So we left let's see, Zion and there we go. Mordecai last
Yeah,
time in a sort of an overgrown cave, basically like a cave made of like knotted trees and stuff. Maybe it was an actual cave. I think it might have been an actual cave. And no, maybe it was a clearing. It's been a minute. I think it was
I
just a
remember it
clearing of
being a
jungle, right?
clearing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was just really thick jungle, so it was basically a
yeah,
cave.
yeah.
Yes, that's right. And the the two of them took down. You never learned its name. Took down Halothane, the corrupted. Um, I guess you could still learn it, but
He
Malavine.
has a name tag
He does. Yep. Well,
carved into
because
his carapace.
the polyp that was piloting it is not dead. So that's why you could still learn its name. And on that note, I think you pinned it to the ground with a bunch of arrows or something.
Yep.
And or spikes, I mean. And you are going to try and cruel and unusual punishment your way to some answers here. While your scouts and Mordecai hold off the waves of spore zombie things that this creature called out to, which I think was a result of diaphate twist or something. It sort of sent out a ripple and something is answering it. So, or lots of somethings. So we're going to see how much Zion can learn before they have to boogie out before they die. I don't know if anyone's said boogie in the last 20 years. And yeah, so I
So,
think, well,
so remind me, is this thing just a corpse now, or is there still something in here? Like you said, the polyp that was
yes.
driving it. So like the spore thing, I
So
assume that
basically
was
the
like,
tannerin itself, right, is alive. That's the polyp. Um,
yeah,
but the flesh mech, well, the Malavine mech, I guess that it was piloting is dead.
right, right.
Or just
It's just a
not.
corpse, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it was always dead. It's just he's
Yep.
not in it anymore, and it doesn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
so you have both the sort of discarded, burnt. Actually, I guess it mostly burned away. So you have like the trace remains of this outer shell of corruption that you destroyed, the Malavine corpse, and the living Tannerin polyp to interact with the intention of trying to discover the weaknesses of these things beyond just
Yeah.
fire. Fire works pretty well, but um,
Well,
the thing is, you
because
guys
yeah,
can kill them, but they just come
mhm,
back. So,
yeah.
what were you
Well, I
saying?
mean, even beyond that, like we haven't been able to kill any of the fungal gods yet.
Right.
So so I guess I mean part of this might be me wondering, right? Like, okay, that polyp just like took off. Is that all this is? Is it just that like the corpse is so strong of the fungal god that we just can't break through it or whatever? Like, and there's a Tannerin piloting it. Like, is there anything? Because I think maybe my assumption as a character up until this point, I mean, certainly as a player, up until last session was like these things are still there. Like the Malavim have been corrupted instead of just being like corpse mechs that can be piloted
Okay.
by Tannerin, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, part of this is probably me in the immediate, right? I think I didn't I find a picture for Zion.
Um,
I think I
that's
did. I don't know where I put it.
there's one on the just like on this screen for roll 20.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
Ah, there he is.
we don't have like a character sheet in roll 20, so yeah.
Yeah,
But I guess what we
here we
can
go.
do is
So there's Zion.
I can try.
Yep. So
Yeah. Let me see if can I save this?
curly hair, black curly hair, and yeah, clean shaven face, young looking. I mean, he's a hellbreaker, so young is relative, but
Right, yeah. It's true. He's technically not.
and
He's
he's next to some acid pustules. So that's fun.
Yes, yeah. Some murky water, some acid pustules, and some. Um, yeah. So I think probably the only relevant piece of data you have so far about this is that for some reason your sword didn't work, and Mordecai's arrows did, despite both of them being fire based, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever landed. Did you land any hits with your sword on his like flesh? I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure Mordecai just melted it instantly with his arrows. So I guess you don't know whether or not that would have mattered. But yeah, something about the difference between Mordecai's weapon and yours might be relevant. But other than that, I think you're mostly trying to find out. You're mostly starting from zero here, so. Well, we got all that stuff to work with, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think you described last time that there was basically Arlo and whatever Japanese arrow guy is. I can't remember what his name is.
Oh.
My second
Where did I write that?
Man.
I have notes for this somewhere and I can't find them. I don't know why.
Very fun.
I mean, yeah, that's bothering me. I even like searched
whatever his name is. They had showed up and basically been like, yeah, there's a bunch of Spore guys on our tail, like get ready for a fight, and that's kind of where we left off. So
right.
I imagine probably I'm just, wiping my fire edged machete on something to wipe up any blood that might be on it or gunk that might be on it, and putting it back in my sheath, and then just like leaning down to take a look over the thing, and I just say over my shoulder, give me all the time you can. This may be our one shot at this. And then I just like start taking a look at the corpse.
He gives you a little salute, and then your scouts start fanning out, take the perimeter. Mostly there's like one main entrance to this. The jungle around it's pretty thick, so they might trickle in here or there, but mostly they'll be coming from this main entrance. So they're going to try and hold the line there.
Cool.
Sweet. All right. Yeah. So you have we hear, just to set the scene, there's been pretty much, I guess it's pretty dark. It was nighttime, I think, when you were chasing him, and also you're in like a canopied over area, so it's pretty dark here.
I probably brought one of those like weird polyhedron light things with me, so I just pop those one of those on the ground right next to me, so I can take a look at this.
So you see the one kind of like the heat one, but instead of being sort of a low glow, it's like super bright and not hot.
And maybe we even see as the clearing brightens, several yokai like eyes in the trees, like going back, like
yeah, for sure. All right, and we hear sort of the low wail and clicking of the sort of mass of creatures outside as they slowly start to like assemble in numbers such that they're actually dangerous. And we start hearing I guess it's kind of like a fizzling crack sort of sound from the like, I don't know, basically plasma rifles. He's like he described them as being like the rifles from Treasure Planet. They sort of look like super fancy muskets, but when they fire, there's like this little red line and it hits things, and the thing starts to melt like the lasers from Castle in the Sky. Sort of the imagery I had. So they're keeping them at bay, but we still hear this building sound as you get to work. Where would you like to start? The corpse, the flesh bits, or the squirming
I think we'll go from the out in. So the first thing I want to take a look at, and here's a question for you, mechanics wise: are we setting up some sort of like clock or something here, like for my men? Like what's going to be the relationship between my roles and the fight happening around me?
Yeah, so we have sorry, I'm just going through every stupid document that I have trying to see where I'm pretty sure I just put these notes at the end of a document I was on.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure which one that was. I also might have put it in one of my copies of the character sheet. I don't know. So but I know I wrote them somewhere. But yeah, so we are doing a the, wow, this contest is what they're called. Conflict. That's close. And so basically this will be here we go. There are a few different clocks that you can have, or a few different kinds of conflicts you can have. So one of the things you can get is countdown. Here we go. So there's 3 kinds of clocks that you use: struggle, where you're trying to fill it; tug of war, where you're trying to unfill theirs and refill yours, which was the chase; and countdown, which is basically every turn the clock will fill one segment, and you want to have filled your there'll be 2 clocks, one that counts down, one you're trying to fill, and you want to try and fill yours before the other one clocks down.
Okay.
So what we'll do in this case is I'll make a
I don't know if this map matters anymore, because I don't think I'll be fighting during this.
Yeah, we can pretty much,
like, basically if they get through, like, we're just running. So
yeah,
I don't think
we can pretty much delete all that. So we got 2 clocks here.
So I think mission briefing is still live as a trait, but I think all the other ones aren't.
Yeah. So I'm not sure balancing wise how we'll give you 4 rounds, just because I'm not sure.
4 makes sense to me.
Yeah, and then we got the 4 is kind of the standard anyway, so I guess that makes sense to start. And then we got yours. So this is what's your primary thing that you want to learn here?
I guess the primary thing would be I don't know, the secret, right? Like, I guess the thing we were trying to find out is, like, what's the connection between the Malavim and the Kalahim, like the fungal gods? How, if one of these can be killed, how can one of those be killed, right? Like, what's the connection there?
So there's a few things we're looking at. There's, like, what's the effective way to defeat them in combat? What's the way that we can kill them permanently?
So fill me in, I guess, fictionally. We've probably had some sort of encounters with these fungal gods before. What are those? How have those encounters gone? Like, is this sort of thing like we have been able to quote unquote kill them, but they keep coming back? Or
so I think so far with the actual Titan god things, you've been able to, like, injure and mostly defeat the, like, outer layer of flesh, because it's weak to a lot of your stuff. It's the fiery, it burns up easily.
Yeah.
But once it's gotten down to the
actual god body,
the Kalahim.
Yeah, Kalahim is. Yeah. I guess they would be Balahim if they're corrupted, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
And once you've gotten down to the body of the god, it usually, it doesn't seem like you guys can hurt it very much, and then it leaves. It, like, runs away. And you haven't been able to, like, pin one down well enough to do enough damage to kill it.
And so this Malavim, right? We got it down to basically the same sort of thing, right? The actual body of the angel, right?
Yeah.
And then the polyp ran away from it because we pinned it down.
So you destroyed the Malavim body. You beat it. Or sorry, the
spore,
the angel body. You basically what happens was you destroyed its, like, carapace, this angel body, enough that it couldn't work it anymore, and so it had to run away.
So that the body itself is damaged, the actual Malavim. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's different from the fungal gods. Okay. I just want to make sure that I knew what I was looking at. Okay, because I think here's a question then. Have we fought Malavim before, and if so, how has it gone? Like, what parts of this are unfamiliar to me as I'm looking at it, right? Where I'm like, okay, we weren't able to do this last time, or maybe we haven't fought these at all. I don't know, right?
Yeah, I guess I had imagined that you hadn't done much with these, like you hadn't had much interaction with smaller versions. This is kind of why this was such an important thing for you, because you were fighting an opponent with the same elements, but that was at such a smaller scale that you might actually be able to do something about it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why that is. I guess by extension, no one else is either. Why we haven't seen more of the Malavim. Thank you. See, Malavim sounds like it's starting the word malevolent, so I always think that that's a bad thing.
Yeah,
and so that's why I'm like, it can't be that. But I guess that's taking myself out.
It's based on the Hebrew word for angel somewhere. I guess. I think we did at one point say that the actual probably singular for both of those words is maloi and taloi for tanoi maybe for Tannerin and Malavim. Like Malavim and Tannerin are probably the plurals, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
okay, so then I guess I'm looking at this as basically being like, okay, well, this is annoying because we could actually fight. Like, it would have been easier if we hadn't been able to do any damage to this body, because then it would have been a 1-to-1 comparison, and I could have been like, cool, the exact same thing that's making it so we can't damage this is the why we can't damage that. But instead, I have to look at various factors now. So I think I'll start with the actual corruption. So the part about so are you saying the body itself was weak against arrows, but resisted my
so you hit the angel's body with your sword, and it didn't really do anything, and then he hit it with his arrows.
Did it do well against the fungal carapace stuff? Okay.
So his arrows and your sword seem to be equally as effective. In fact,
until we got to
might have been basically the same, right? But once you hit the angel body, his arrows continued to work, and for some reason your sword didn't.
All right. Yeah, so that's the first thing I want to figure out is like why that difference, right? Like what about the composition? I mean, like, this is Magitech era, so I'm probably pulling out my like golden tablet thing or whatever and trying to do some research and using some songs. Let's see, what songs do I have here?
Combat and perception songs.
Ooh, perception songs. Yeah, I'm thinking since I'm a researcher, right, and a kind of like magic science nerd, I probably have a very particular perception song that's allowing me to analyze magically what's going on, right? Like, here's the aura reading song that I have that's going to let me like pick apart magically what's happening in the same ways. Like I'm using a magic microscope, basically, would be my first step here.
Right. Yeah. You're looking at its magical cells. Yeah. Cool. All right.
So I just start singing under my breath, and as the screeches of the spore monsters start filling in the air around me, and fighting starts happening.
Yep. Okay. So I guess back to the objective here. Yeah. So if you fill this clock, what is it that you'll learn? I guess is basically
there'll be several parts to this that will all lead to how can we kill the fungal gods, right? That's the main thing, because at this point, I know we can kill the Malavim. Like, that's not an issue. Like I maybe thought it was before. So cool. These are being piloted. The Malavim at least are being piloted by these Tannerin spores, and you damage the body enough, at least with these arrows, and we're good. So the main thing I want to figure out through all of this is going to be like, what is a actionable piece of what's an actionable weakness that we can extrapolate from this to the fungal gods.
Right. All right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the secret, but like something that we can go off of that will give us an edge.
And then I think there will be a sub-objective, which is another thing we haven't dealt with yet. Basically, you can divert your attention to this. Normally, you have to do it instead of the first one. In this case, I think I'm going to say you have to do the first one first, because I think that they're kind of they're not like mutually exclusive in the way that most sub-objectives are. If you manage to fill this fast enough, you can start working on this one. And if you fill that one all the way before you have to leave, then we'll do probably just like a clue. Death. So basically you can start learning something about how to like try and permanently get rid of these like not just have the Tannerin reform when you kill them. Because there's stuff you can learn about that here as well, I think, potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think is going to have to be after the main one, because normally it would end when you fill this, but I think that you have to fill that one to get to this one. So. All right.
So fungal god weaknesses first, and then clue about permanent death. Okay.
Yeah, here I'll draw a little arrow or something. So that
I'll get Zion out of the way.
All right. And then this is the overrun block. You're very overrun. I have 3 R's in there. Overrun. It's the Frosted Flakes guy. Alrighty, so
yeah, we just see the Tony the tiger say that as he's being trampled by spores.
A fungal tiger charge through. Overrun. They're great. All right. Yeah, here we go. So, where do you start first? Are we looking? What are the 3 sort of things here? Do you want
first thing I'm starting with is why the difference between the Mordecai's arrows or whatever he was using?
Right. So we're starting on the Malahim body.
The actual body itself. Like why did my and it wasn't that like it did no damage with mine, right?
It was just like it seemed like it was. Basically, it was resistant to your weapon and not his. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yep. So I want to figure that out as quickly as possible. Like, what's the deal with that? Like, why is that difference?
All right. So what does that look like? We see you go over to the Malahim corpse, and you're gonna. What do you? You pull out your tablet. You start looking at it. Are you gonna?
Yep. Yeah. So I bring up anything. I think we know at the beginning of the game we had seen like I don't know. Did you ever play Last Guardian?
No, I saw some stuff of it, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game is basically this it's like a bunch of journal pages from someone studying the Griffin things that are in that game.
Oh, okay.
With the illustrations and stuff. And I think we had described before that after we got the kind of intro sequence, we had a credit sequence of like with a bunch of illustrations of the Malavim and the spores and anything we knew in that sort of style. And so I'm bringing that page up here. And just like placing it on the ground next to me so I can reference it as I sing this perception song, which is going to let me basically magically microscope myself, my eyes in to see the magical cells and figure out the composition of the thing.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. And then what sort of test are you running? You're just gonna analyze it first to see what's there.
Yeah, basically just analyzing the composition so I can figure out the differences. Like why did this thing damage it more than this other thing?
So that is advanced because we're trying to move towards our goal here. Unless you want to create an advantage and be like, oh, I have all of my stuff out here and
I don't know. I think mission briefing might cover that already, right? That's kind of what that is. So yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So let's look at your character here. We got doesn't really end up mattering for your character really, but this is I don't know if it's acuity or willpower. Willpower is more of like the research kind of thing, and acuity is more of the like notice something out of the corner of your eye kind of thing.
I'm thinking maybe acuity now because it's so quick and
you're just getting information. Also, it's all the same for you, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's 2 there, and then we got your Hellbreaker songs with perception, so that's 4.
So yeah, I have knowledge of Skovrane magic and Discordic magic, if that helps.
Yes, and not for this current one, I don't think, because you're dealing with Malahim So the discordic magic isn't relevant, and it doesn't have anything inherently to do with Skovrane, I don't think. So
Right. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
I'll give you just Arcana in general, though.
Arcana in general. Yeah.
So that's 5. So 6 with the die fate.
Cool. Which die do we usually say that one is? The last one or whatever?
The first one. I always just
the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
So 6, you said?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. 66. Okay. Do I know what? Do you roll the difficulty?
Yes,
against me?
I'll
That
roll
difficulty.
Okay. Yeah. So
you want to do it first for dramatic purposes, so I know what I need to beat.
So considering that, I don't remember if I've assigned difficulty ratings and stuff yet. Considering you're sort of in a rush, I think I'll call it. We'll call this 4. I think easy was 2, so we'll call 4. It's probably like regular. Greater than 4. Oh, greater than 3. I forgot this is greater than 4. It's greater than or equal to in Roll20.
Greater than 4.
I remember how to do this sometimes. Only 1 success.
5 successes.
There you go. Well done. All right. So as far as the clock goes, we got.
So I'm doing this is an advance.
Advance. Yep.
Yeah.
So you succeeded. So you're normally your standard thing is that you get 2 segments. So you succeeded by 4. So you can pick from the great success options twice. So you can either create a temporary tag. Did you roll mission briefing?
No, I didn't.
Okay, go ahead and roll that again.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure it'll matter because I'm only getting 5 successes will do anything. Because you already.
Well, I got 6 successes anyway, because
there you go.
Not? Yeah. So basically, you're saying that it doesn't. They're cumulative.
Yeah. So because basically
so it's
every
not
2
like it starts marking it after 1. Then it's every 2. It's just like 2 over. Like we're just taking the obstacle itself, and then that's what's.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure if it might happen too often, but otherwise it's like you have to get 3, but then it's like 5 and 7, and so it's just kind of weird. So I was hoping that I could just do it where it's like 2 over is 1, 4 over is the next, right? That's the most approachable version of it, but I think it might be a little too easy to get. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Yeah, my first instinct would be to do it based not cumulative. But yeah, we can see how it feels.
What do you mean by not cumulative? Sorry.
As in we're marking 2 segments over the last success, right? So costly success is on the ob, success is 1 over the ob, and then yeah, exactly. And then great success would be 2 over that. Yeah,
why don't we assume that? Because again, when I did my little test to myself, it happened on a lot of the rolls, and again, there was successes were weird there, but
it's not that big of a change. I don't think it's but I think it'll help.
Yeah, basically it's in order to get 2 of these, you'll have to get 5 more than whatever they rolled, which is not likely to happen off. What? Right?
Well, I mean, so let's see.
Right?
I got. Or is it... Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so it'll be. I only got 1 great success then. No, I got 2.
Well, no, you'll get 2.
I just
but yeah, I'm just thinking. Yeah, because you got that. I'm just thinking as far as that is not going to happen often, but that's fine because I think that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Getting it twice should probably only be like a big, pretty.
Yeah,
big.
I was gonna say you already roll for obstacles. I don't think we need and that automatically gives instead of just setting an obstacle for players, right? It's usually going to be less than the amount of dice you're rolling anyways.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know if we need to give players even more.
Yeah, that's
bonus.
I mean, it goes both ways, but that's true. Yeah.
But in my experience, it almost always means the monsters roll worse. You just always are worse.
Yeah. All right.
I hate having to roll in games because it always makes my NPCs incompetent.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So okay, that doesn't change our roll here because you still get 2. But
yep.
Yeah. So we're just.
So that means I get to mark. I mark 2 normally, right?
Yep. So you could mark 4, or you could create a tag and mark 1, or you could, in this case, marking a stress clock doesn't matter. That would be like if there was a tag at play you wanted to stress, which I'm not sure if I want that to be a thing or not, but right now it is. There really isn't any reason to pick that if you're trying to hurt some, like advance a clock, because a regular clock.
Could you tell me maybe what I learn, and then I can choose based on, right, like what that means, I think.
If you fill the clock entirely, you'll learn the fungal guide weaknesses. If you don't, then you'll
but I guess my question is for you narratively, does that make sense that from this, what I'm trying to find out, that I would be able to just figure out the weakness right away?
Oh, I see what you mean. The most important part of what you're trying to learn, you could learn doing this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just mark 4 then. That sounds good to me.
Cool.
Here, I'll go ahead and do it. Never mind.
Those are awful. And then I will go ahead and just real quick before I forget.
That was more efficient than what I was going to do. I was going to mark an X on every single one of them.
Yeah, well, because you did it all, I was like, so basically we see you, and this will take a little bit of narration to like get you there all the way, but basically you follow a line of logic that's effective enough that you basically get this in one go. So we see you analyzing it, and basically, I mean, it's probably, I guess it wouldn't be fading because it's been dead. So you get the impression from the cells or whatever that this thing has been dead. It probably doesn't look anything like, a rotting corpse would have if it was biological, but you're familiar enough being a Hellbreaker that that doesn't throw you, right? You can still figure out what's going on here. You're still able to make a roll. And so, basically you are kind of just testing it, right? You try, while you're looking at this sort of cellular level of stuff, you try pushing your blade against it, right? Because you're testing to see why it didn't work. And it kind of just looks like, there's almost like I guess, a sort of like magnetic effect a little bit. It's almost like these are the same polarity of is that the right word? Of magnet?
I know what you're saying. Yeah. So as in like whatever. my things like pushing away from it.
Yeah, basically like these are there's a similar energy here for some reason. Even though this thing is dead, like just woven into the actual cellular structure of this thing is like harmonic energy, right? It's basically strands of harmonic bone, right? And so your blade just won't, like it can, like you use all your strength and you scratch it, right? Like it works, but it's actively, like you'd probably be better off hitting it with just a regular sword,
right?
Like the harmonic energy is actively harming your attempt to scar this tissue.
I mean, yeah, that seems likely. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So then what's the difference? Why did the arrows work then, or the spikes or whatever he was using?
Maybe we see a shot of Mordecai, and he's sort of doing his Yondu thing, right? The arrows are flying around, and you yell over to him, and he
I forgot that's what he had.
Yeah, we get this shot of the sort of slowly building. I mean, it hasn't built much because you did this pretty quickly. But you call for you call over to him. He's like, he tosses you an arrow, and the thing is that, so this arrow he used.
Oh yeah, he has a sliver manipulator. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
The same sort of thing, the little pylons that we were using to fly around, except he has like them sharpened and he can throw them around.
So now, when you grab one of those and you push against it, this is just actual like phosphorus, right? This isn't magical. I think he used magic to make it, but and maybe not even then. I think he has like a crafting station basically. And I think that thing is powered by harmonic energy, but it makes actual just like napalm, basically.
Sure.
And so when you push that up against the body, again, it's just having a physical reaction. Because this isn't inherently harmonic energy, it's just eating away at it like it would at like a pretty solid. Like it still, takes some work, and because it's not flying at super speeds, it's still hard. I mean, this is still a Malavine's carapace, right? So it's like
Yeah.
pretty tough, but it's having a significantly much more visible effect, especially at a cellular level, on this thing than the sword was. And so I guess basically the core thing you needed to know here was that and again, your guys' guns are just basically like harmonic energy
Harmonic laser rifles,
lasers, right? If you guys are using your harmonic weapons on this stuff, it just won't work. Like especially you're talking
with the
about
fungal gods.
Yeah, you're talking about a Malavim. If we move this up to the corpse of a Balhim, you're just never going to hurt it at all with this kind of stuff, really.
Okay, so that tells us something fictionally, where basically the gods did not fall themselves. Their corpses just got corrupted by Tannerin spores, right? Because if they had fallen themselves, then their harmony would turn to discord.
Yeah, so this corpse is still harmonic. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because of what you've seen here too. I mean, that was what happened here, right? There was no like,
it was like overnight, everything, like they just all died and then their bodies got full of demon spores. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe they got hold of one and used it to kill another. I don't know if we know for sure how it occurred, but yeah, if the god corpses reflect these, they are just dead. And there isn't really any reason to believe that there isn't as of right now.
Sure. So there's probably just like the captains of the demons are just piloting the fungal gods like they are with the Malavim here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Do we know what direction did the polyp run off in?
He didn't. You stuck into the ground with some stuff. He's still flailing around.
He's right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean that probably goes right into the next thing then.
Yeah, that makes
permanent
sense.
Death, right? Yeah. Because if that's all I need to know, if that's really the only issue with the god bodies, right?
It's
then
the main
I need
one,
to go. Yeah, I need to go to the spirit then, right? I need to go to the thing piloting it. Yeah. So
all right.
I probably just like shoot up a quick prayer, like a thank you for letting me do this so quickly, sort of thing to capital G God, and then take a step over to the polyp.
Yeah.
And what does this look like again?
So it looks like if you took an eyeball and just covered it with a bunch of like sort of like tentacly fungal mass. We had an image for it. I don't know if it's on here. I don't see it in my thing.
It's possible that I uploaded it.
Probably because my thing is full. I literally had to delete the other handouts to upload the new ones.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Yeah, it's basically just like a gross eyeball with tentacles coming out of it. Like tendrils, I guess. But yeah, pretty grody.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yep. So basically it has its little like weird polyp
it's like a beholder with one eye.
Basically, yeah.
And no mouth.
Yeah. And yeah, instead of having like, 4 eye tendrils, it has just like a bunch of tendrils, little tentacle things, spore growths, and sort of flailing them around. A few of them are pinned to the ground. That's why it can't move. And it's probably like torn one of those tendrils off. And so like it's held down by like 2 or 3, but it's trying to like basically break its fingers to get out kind of thing. But it has not succeeded in doing so.
Okay, so do I know that if these things can talk, either telepathically or otherwise, like normally, like with like without having to make some sort of roll to like try to communicate with it?
So they've never spoken to any of you verbally. I'm trying to think. I mean, do you think any of the Hellbreakers have ever gotten close enough to one of these things to touch it without just killing it? I guess that's the question.
Yeah,
because they definitely don't approach you because they're kind of physically vulnerable in this form, right? Like
I think. Well, so this is the question, right? Like, we haven't been able to permanently kill these things.
Right.
So, but that doesn't mean we don't kill the spores. They just regenerate, right?
The spores are the easiest version to kill. They're basically just they're not hard
so I would imagine we don't talk to them usually. We're just they just end up getting burned alive in our combats.
I figured you probably just shoot them when you see them.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are not aware of.
So I just don't know
whether or not it can communicate. Yeah. You just know that they don't speak out loud because they've never done that.
Yeah, if I just like start talking to it, is that gonna like delay my
time here? As in, like, well, if would it be easier? Would it be more? I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say.
Efficient.
More efficient in terms of. I guess I'm asking mechanically. If I just start
Right.
talking to the thing, or am I going to waste time with overrun?
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless you're making a roll on something.
Okay.
Like
So
I probably won't give you anything
the
important,
roll
but-
is a roll is what's gonna advance it. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I mean, and the first thing I just say is like as I walk over is just like, you Tannerin, can you or I guess I'll use the singular. You Tannoy, can you speak?
You see it continues to flail, but one of its tendrils flails less than the others and sort of sticks out towards you. But you hear nothing. Nothing happens. Because it can't reach you.
Yeah. I think I want to be stupid and I'm going to touch it.
Yeah, so you hold out a hand and it sort of
I look around to make sure none of the NPCs are watching me do this, and then I go and touch it.
Yeah, you return, you see like, the guy whose name I can't remember.
Kai, that's his name.
Kai, okay. I'm gonna write that somewhere. I don't forget. I swore I wrote it like under your character sheet. It's not there. I know I wrote it some notes somewhere and can't find any of those. It's really frustrating.
It's possible you wrote it in the chat entries earlier. Let me just glance through it.
We did, I'm pretty sure, but I know I wrote it somewhere else, and I have no idea where I put it, and it's driving me nuts. Yeah, I don't. Part of me wonders if I was filling out one of the copy sheets, and I'll have to look at that later. But anyways,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Kai.
Yeah, we will go with that. All right, so, yeah, Kai, you see him, sort of like, the horde has sort of reached the mouth, but they're keeping it at the mouth. They haven't managed to break their way into the actual area yet, so no one's in real danger. We see them all like sort of pinned to trees via their spikes. They're up an elevation, shooting down on them, sort of making a kill zone out of it. All right, and yeah, so you hold your hand out, and its tendril sort of wraps around your finger. And then in your mind, you hear trying to think of what they call you. Yeah, so I think you're actually you see, child of fire.
So nothing happens bad to me though. I just like
no. You don't have a psychic nosebleed or anything.
Good. I was hoping that I just wasn't corrupting myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just says child of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I guess I'm assuming the demon Spores gender, but
well, it wasn't a very feminine voice.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an eyeball, so he has no reproductive organs. Technically, I guess that makes him a they. I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe an it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably what I would call it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I say. Oh, I don't know. I don't think Zion thought this far ahead. He was just like, yeah, kind of. It would be nice to be able to talk to these things and maybe ask him some questions. But I'm like, what questions will I ask him that won't just be like, how do you die? How do I kill you? Right? Like, he's not going to answer those.
Yeah. Well, he definitely. I think he does say something else. He says, "Set me free, and I'll turn away the tide."
Yeah, I think I say, I'm not worried about the tide. I have very good sailors behind me.
Then you will drown.
That remains to be seen, demon. Tell me, why were you, maybe if you answer a few of my questions, I will set you free. But not before.
The eye squints at you.
Tell me, how did you come to corrupt that vessel? Is this a point where I just make a roll for like interrogation and see how
Yeah.
it's gonna go in general?
There can be other learn these things to learn here. I don't know that this will progress your clue about the permadeath thing, but it's still something you could roll and try and get him to tell you. And we'll just have that be like an overcome as opposed to an advance because it's kind of just its own little thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Zion knows that won't help, so yeah, it makes sense. I'll just roll it. Well, let me figure that out. Okay. So what am I doing here? What's the idea?
So this is a social thing. So
Yeah,
we're talking presence. So it's 2
presence. I don't think I'm good at this sort of thing.
No, I don't think so either. I'm not sure anything else helps you here.
I think it's just presence and my die fate.
So let's see what.
Probably it. So yeah, go ahead and roll for him and. Haha!
Not great.
Roll here. Abject failure from the DM.
Yep.
Glowing success from Caleb.
There you go. Nice.
It feels good to be on the other side of this.
Yeah.
So that should just be a standard success then.
Yep. So this is just overcome. So basically, this is just get what you want because this is sort of a different thing. So
yeah.
And it's not like a.
Are there any other? Let me take a look at this. More than you intended. Okay, yeah. So that makes sense. Yep. So I just achieved my intent.
Yeah. So he says, yeah, that's sort of the most basic one. So he says, same way. What'd you ask? Exactly?
How did you come to corrupt this vessel here?
Same way we've purified this whole world. And which isn't helpful as an answer, but you're familiar enough with their sort of like corruption.
Yeah,
stuff.
I have the context to put that together.
Yeah.
So what does that mean then for me?
Basically, like there isn't even really a sense of like corruption is kind of like almost a strong word for it. Basically, they just build their own network of fungal, like, muscular systems and stuff. They basically just puppet it, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they do with a lot of the stuff that they just grow stuff, and they grow stuff in a way that allows them to puppet the thing that they're on.
They're just growing tendrils throughout. I'm imagining this is similar to the flesh stuff that we had on that one Dawn of World we did, where we're like this, like there was like the giants or whatever that had like a gemstone in them that had the flesh that had to grow. Yeah, and like you put it into sword, and the big flesh thing kind of came out of the sword. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm sure there's obviously
I'm going to be cannibalizing that for Impossible Glory, by the way. That's still going to happen.
Yes.
Flesh.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, so his answer isn't helpful, but with your context, basically you understand it. There isn't anything further happening here than there is anywhere else, really, as far as them.
Sure.
Like,
okay, I wanted to make sure as Zion, because he, I mean, this is the first time he's been able to talk the one that like corrupted a Malvine.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's a good question to ask because it's very possible that there was more to this, and obviously there is more to it. Like somehow they killed it, and like, there's obviously more to the equation there as far as how you total answer, but. And then because that's the end of that turn, I guess he could have a turn. We're kind of doing a social conflict now, but it's fine. We'll just keep it the way we got it. I guess I should have thought that through. That probably.
I maybe would have suggested. I just didn't realize he was still there. I forgot that we trapped him.
That's fine. To be fair, we could have them running in tandem, right? We could have like a hybrid conflict, and what that would look like, just so I can have that out there. Basically, I would make another clock, and you would, depending on what you're trying to do, if you're both trying to do different things, you get your own clock and just see who fills it first. You're trying to do this, like push back and forth, you'd get a tug of war clock and you try and fill it before they do, like, go back and forth, try to unfill their marks. And it would just have the same timer running, and you would just be doing that instead of this other side objective. So that is totally a thing we could do. But
I think it's fine to keep it like this for now.
I don't plan on doing that, but that's probably if we wanted to like make it, as written. That's
I'm not as interested in like actually, I mean, Zion's not good at that sort of thing, right? So he's probably going like he asked him this question, and honestly, at this point, probably he'll just like lean down and start poking him, right? Like doing his more nerd thing instead, because he's like, I'm not actually good at this anyway. Like, okay, cool. Like you're probably not going to tell me a whole lot. I'll just start poking you.
Yeah. Yes. Trying to think if he has anything he can do.
So I think after I get the answer to the question and I realize like, okay, there's not anything more significant in that part of it that I need to know, and I just like let go of the tendril at that point.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think on his sort of turn, he's gonna try and as you let go, leave something behind.
Yeah, perfect. Discordant corruption. Let's go.
Yeah. So let's see.
I have to say, I really love that and I'm not sure how it happened, but we accidentally started saying that as the word instead of discordant, which is the actual English word that would mean that.
Yeah.
Because it just ended up being its own thing, right? Discordic means magically corrupted as opposed to just being a musical term.
Right. Yeah, it's its own thing. Yeah. For sure.
I just have the Bluey theme song stuck in my head right now, which is very inappropriate for this whole thing.
Yeah, it's very fun dance party sort of vibe. That's funny.
As a fungal demon attempts to leave mind altering spores on my body or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So call it like that. I guess he gets the die fate. This is an aggressive thing. This is just an overcome thing. Just gonna try it. Or I guess actually this is a create advantage, which is just overcome, except it'll give him dice if it helps. So you actually get a success from the first one. And it's a 1. So I think basically I'm gonna have it be where like you know that he's trying to do this, you know that something up, not just that regardless of whether or not he succeeds, you're gonna be aware of it. Either he tried to or did, and you know about it. I think that'll be the like sort of downside to his 1, but you also get a success in your roll. But he's got 4 successes. So this is going to be, I think, mostly like a question of like noticing it in time to keep it or like moving away. Yeah, this is a physical thing. So basically like
then.
Yeah. So basically, or fortitude, I guess, because what happens is his tendril sort of constricts as you try and pull your finger out of it. And basically, whether or not you can get out of it fast enough to like, avoid whatever he's doing, I think is the thing. And it doesn't really matter whether or not you notice it because you automatically notice it because you got that. That's sort of going to be the twist.
That's the twist for the 1.
Yeah.
So are you sure is it an acuity because I'm trying to do it fast as opposed to
but if you were strong enough that you could just rip it out, that would also work. But it's the same for you.
That's true. I think that's how Zion would be doing it. It's just trying to do it quickly.
Yeah. Alrighty, and I don't know what you're doing.
Real quick for chat, we have a Discord member in chat asking some questions. He's wondering a little bit about the dice system. So yeah, it's a dice pool like Burning Wheel. But I don't know if you want to add anything to that. He just asked, what dice system does he use? It sounds like kind of like Burning Wheel.
Yeah, so it's one I've made up and is sort of also under development. The concepts are in place, but how I want to flesh them out sometimes changes, and so it might evolve a little. But currently, you basically get a pool of D6s from things like your attributes and your assets, and any like advantages that are on the scene, and you roll those. 4+ is success, like Burning Wheel. There's a die of fate in each roll, where if the active character rolls it, and if it's a 1 to 3, their opponent gets a success. If it's a 4 or a 6, like a normal, they get a success. If it hits a 1 or a 6, something extra happens. and that's the basic gist of it. Then you're trying to get more successes in them. Obviously, that resolution is also pretty similar to Burning Wheel. There's a little bit more granularity, but that's it.
And then the rest of the game has a bunch of things from that are kind of like from Fate as well, from the Fate system by Evil Hat Productions, if you're familiar with that.
Right.
So kind of a mix between those two, but with lots of stuff that David has added in.
Burning Wheel and Fate are
design.
sort of the foundational elements for most of this stuff, and then I just sort of merge stuff together.
Sweet.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
All right, so how many dice am I rolling here? So I have Acuity. I can probably use Perception Song then, right? Because like, I don't think I.
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
Well, because you were more like looking at cells and stuff. I'm not sure if you were already humming one, but I'm not sure it's the kind of perception song that would work for this.
I don't know if it makes sense that I would have kept humming it while I was sitting talking to him. So
yeah, that's true.
That is the limitation of this magic system. Is you kind of have to not be talking.
Right, and it's sort of a ahead of time thing most of the time. Sort of hard to react with songs necessarily.
Yeah, I'm sure I can make a character in Bonds where like that was his whole thing is he instinctively did songs when he felt the twinge of whatever, right?
Like from Way of Kings, just always humming.
There you go. Yeah,
combat songs are probably something that you could sing very quickly and would pick up very quickly. Otherwise, it would be very useful. But anyways,
I don't think they count here, but yeah.
Yeah. So that sounds like 2 dice.
Yeah. Can I maybe get a dice for Discordic Magic since I'm like aware of the sort of like dangers this presents?
Yes, this is technically Discordic Magic. So yeah, so there's Arcana and Discordic Magic, so that's 4.
So then 3 dice altogether.
At least the way it currently works, you also get your Arcana.
Oh yeah, Arcana. Yeah.
So,
of course. Perfect.
Also, you can push yourself. Basically, you can mark your own stress for an extra 2 dice.
I don't think I care too much whether or not Zion gets this. Like, I want to give him a fighting chance, but I'm not gonna go out of my way.
Sure.
All right, 3. I got a 6. Is that how that works again? I can spend bond points on.
So you spend a bond point on an aspect a trait to re-roll your fails.
Reroll fails.
Currently, 6s only matter if they're the die of fate. Again, that's all stuff that I might tweak, but.
Yeah, I've been playing so much Burning Wheel that I just saw that 6 immediately and was like, aha!
Yeah. Right.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. Do I care enough? Failing it by 1 just means like standard success for him, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, so this is
an overcome.
It's a create tag actually. So he's trying to create an advantage for himself, basically. And if basically that move is an overcome that helps you, so what he wants to do will happen. And it'll also give him some kind of dice that he can pull on later, right?
Yeah, I think I'll leave it as is. He can get the tag on me.
Okay. So he's got, and I guess it's probably more of a hindrance. I guess he's inflicting. You can inflict a tag or a hindrance. This probably makes more sense as a hindrance because it's on you.
Sure.
So I'm actually going to put that on your character sheet.
Is there any mechanical difference between the two of them besides the fact that they just like one is a negative, obviously?
So not really. So there actually aren't any negatives. The difference is a hindrance is something other characters get into their dice pool when they're rolling against you, and a tag that's helpful is something that you get in your dice pool when you want.
Okay.
So basically, hindrances are dice you give other people.
Yeah.
So this is. You got a standard success, so he'll just do 1d6 as a thing. It's the standard thing. So no, why would it do that? There you go. Okay, and that is go with that. And you know that this at least something has happened. Like you feel a burn sort of in your finger as he pulls away. Like you can tell something's occurred. And because of the 6, so you're aware that something nefarious has happened. But obviously you're not necessarily sure what it is, but there you go.
That's a terrible color of red. There we go. That's better. I'm just putting on the roll 22 for reference.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
I love it. I love it. This is actually what I wanted from my character anyway. I wanted
Good stuff.
to have to be weak. He's tempted by the Discordia, you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alrighty.
All right.
So
And
you're
that
up
doesn't
again.
advance overrun though, right?
No, because that was
that
just his action during that turn.
During
and
that,
I already filled
that
it,
time period.
So,
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna like just I guess plop down and start poking at him to see if I can figure out this clue about permanent death. Me as a narrative as a character, would I have any idea of what am I actually trying to look for in this sort of situation? Like, what do we already know so far about this sort of thing?
So I mean, you know everything that we would know in Crow Inquisitors. So you're aware, because these are Hellbreakers, you're aware that when you kill them, they sort of
they go back to whatever.
Yeah. Basically, they turn into an evil fog that drifts away into the aether and where they regenerate, right? And as far as you're aware, there isn't much you can do to stop that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think.
Yeah. So what I would be looking for here is probably some way to trap the soul, right? The spiritual part of the Tanner, the actual part of Tannerin, because these are just like mechs they build for themselves or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
Flesh mechs, as Cash would say.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's probably the direction I'm theorizing in is like, is there a way to kill them so hard that the spirit can't escape the body as it dies?
Right.
I assume that would involve harmonic magic in some sort of way. But yeah, that's probably the direction I'm thinking in as I poke around here.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to try in your experiment, like from a narrative perspective? Like, what are you?
True.
What does the poking look like, right?
Well, I mean, the stuff I have available to me on my character sheet, right? I have, let's see, the Hellbreaker songs, the focus of which I have is perception songs and combat songs. Here's a question for you, because we haven't been doing this. What do the drawbacks do exactly? These,
they either have an automatic
assets?
thing,
because like for example, on my Hellbreaker songs, I have imposter syndrome, unreliability. What is unreliability again?
So unreliability is if you get a 1 on the die of fate, your dice implode.
Okay. So bad astrology die.
Yeah, right. And like for instance, Temptation to Discordia is danger. If you get a 1 on the die of fate there, I just get to hurt stuff.
Okay. So I haven't done that yet though.
Right, yeah. So most of them are either passive, like costly, which makes the difficulty for recovering an asset higher, or they require you to roll a 1 on the die of fate. And I think currently the way it works is that your opponent chooses to activate your drawback. With that, they can choose to do other things with the 1, but if they choose to do that, that's what happens. Yeah, or a 6, I think will also, like if they roll a 6
on there, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure I have anything beyond my knowledge and my perception songs that are really. I guess maybe I know a combat song that like traps things in a cage of light or something, right? Like maybe that's an angle.
Yeah, I don't know if how offensive
most of the
songs, right?
I was gonna say
buffs,
most of the songs that the Hellbreakers have are buffs to other people. I mean, there's certainly stuff that like affects the world, like you have the Air of Gates and stuff like that. So I'm trying to think.
I don't think there's
like
much in there that like creates like damaging.
Well, okay, there's wonderment is a natural effect of Hellbreaker songs, right? Like the sort of true. Like you have to do a steel test sort of a thing. So maybe there's just an extrapolation from there where like it's such beautiful music that it's stunned. So maybe that's what I'm doing more than anything beyond just the normal like perception songs. And maybe I start with a song that's sole purpose is to do this kind of like, and maybe to demons it's like their ears start bleeding and they're like, right, like it's like so beautiful that they has like an adverse effect on them that I hope will immobilize him so I can do more
Yeah. Well, so he is pinned still, so he is technically
immobilize him to the point where like he literally is like at my mercy because like he can squirm around and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
He had a tendril that like planted a seed in me, so I think.
Right.
I think that's probably what I'll do first, and maybe even like as like its own action, right? Just like an overcome,
create an
like
advantage.
create an advantage. There you go. Crit attack. That's a good idea.
The other nice thing is if you do well enough on create an advantage, you can have it be your simple action, and it just basically doesn't count. You can do something else.
Yeah. So I think I'll start there.
Okay, sounds good. Because you're only going to have one turn after this. So if you're able to make it.
I'm trying to use all my space that I have to get the most I can out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll do. I don't know. I guess that may be presence that I'm starting with then, right? If like the whole purpose, because I think I'm singing a combat song, whose purpose is to like intimidate and immobilize an enemy, right? Because of how beautiful the music is, and so presence, kind of like force personality, and then Hellbreaker songs, combat songs. And then maybe Discordic magic and Arcana because this is what it's made to do against, right?
Makes sense. Sure.
Okay, so that's 5, 6 with the die of fate. Because 2 for presence.
Yeah.
2 and 2, 6.
So it'd be 7 with the die of fate, right? Because you get Arcana, Discordic, Hellbreaker, combat, and then 2. That's 6. So 7 would be the die of fate.
7. Oh, and then I probably get. Do I get 8 for mission briefing? Can I use that here too? I can see it both ways, but
yeah, sure, why not?
Cool. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna roll.
Yeah.
Nice, and a 6 on the die of fate.
So let's see. Let me look at his thing here. Goodness gracious, what am I doing? Okay. There's so many things up. I can't wait until like I can have someday when I can have an actual character sheet like thing so that I don't have to flip through a bunch of tabs to try and find what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think that's probably did pretty well though. But you also got a 6 on the die of fate. So
what does that do again?
So the basic thing is you get to have a twist, some kind of narrative benefit. There is I think I had some other things it could also do. Obviously, you can trigger drawbacks, but I actually don't have assets for him, so there's nothing to trigger. I do have
my first inclination with this idea in the first place, with the like immobilizing song, was that this might be part of the secret, right? Where like something like this might open or lock their soul here for a brief moment or something like that. Okay. So if I could make the narrative twist just be like, this is like me doing this on him is going to give me a better. Like, this is the right thing to do narratively because of that.
Right.
I'm not sure what that means exactly with how this works, but something along those lines. Basically, I just make up a piece of fiction where I'm like, this is the right direction. Like, the immobilizing.
Yeah, song. Okay. Yeah, I think that works.
Cool.
Sounds good. So now that was creative advantage. So let's look at the move here. So you beat him by how much was it? 4?
Yes. So yeah, getting a 4. So I got a 4. So I only get 1 great success, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I also so I had a thing on here where basically you could increase the advantage level of the roll, which basically just meant it did more damage. That was before with it. So I think one of the options is also if you get a 6, you can have it give you 2. It automatically gives you a success, but the effect of the 6 can also be a success if you want. I don't know if that helps you any, but I was just reading the options and I was like, oh, I need to change the way that this one works to fit the rules. So
maybe I'm confused by what you're saying.
So basically,
is it
what I'm
doing? Making a tag here?
Yes. But I was going back to the 6. I realized like I pivoted the die of fate.
Yeah.
If you want, instead of having that, you can have another success. I don't know if that would help you, but just because I forgot to mention that was an option because I had to change it.
Right. I mean, it would mean I get 2 great success. I get 2 on the great success.
Yeah. So let's look at what that means. And you can decide if you want to do that. So create a tag. As standard,
would a relevant stress clock be one of these? Could I just mark?
So these are there's two kinds of clocks. There's progress, which is these, and like health.
These are progress clocks.
And then stress, which is like assets,
damage,
and the stress on your character and stuff. So yeah, when actually, so actual your condition clock that is your health is actually a progress clock. You fill it to kill somebody.
Okay.
The little ones next to your stats are stress clocks. So you could fill one of those, but which I guess you could do. You could fill some of his stress, but
yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I figured it won't benefit you much. So yeah, basically the options here are you can improve the tag that you created by a d6. So by succeeding, you create either a 1d6 tag or a temporary 2d6 tag. And
so could I create a 2d6 temporary tag and then do that one and make it a 3d6 temporary tag?
Right. And technically you could do it again and make it a 4. I don't know if that's allowed. 3 is usually the max and stuff, but it technically doesn't say there.
So I think what I want to do, looking at these options here, I think I want to do 2d6 temporary tag, make it a 3d6 temporary tag, and then make this a simple action.
Simple action, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that.
So I can maximize my last roll here.
Right. So we've got.
Or I guess I'll have 2 rolls because it's a simple action that I could technically make if this one fails and doesn't get me what I want.
All right, here we go.
Bathed in radiance.
Oh, I guess I should put a little. All right. Yeah, I don't know how to do the fine control of the colors unless you're just picking other colors. I don't know. I didn't see one that looked right.
No, right. I just found the right. I changed the color to match.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Yeah. So we see probably just like you probably just start glowing, I suppose is probably what happens. Yeah. And like
to anyone else who's not like corrupted by Discordia, this just looks like beautiful and radiant
pleasant.
And it's very pleasant. It's overwhelming but very pleasant, right? But to this guy, like it's terrible and fire, like a child of fire, right? It's just like burning and
it almost looks like it physically pins him to the ground, I think.
Yeah.
So like he stops filling basically because that was the intention.
Hard light just pushes him down.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Cool. All right.
So then I want to advance, right? I want to figure out the secret. So I just like sit down and start poking.
Okay.
Or squat and start poking, I suppose. And then just do that like microscope again, basically. Just like start analyzing. Yeah. So I think. What do we say? Is maybe this willpower now, since I'm kind of like. Because you said like research was willpower. I mean, it doesn't really matter again because I have.
Yeah, this is kind of the slow, more like basically analyzing something is wisdom or willpower, whatever it's called, and like
quick. It's there's a difference between perception and investigation in D&D.
Yes, basically. Yep, that's a good way of saying it. Yeah. Cool. So. Yeah, probably investigation, basically.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was thinking, right? Because before it was like I was glancing over the body real quickly. As soon as I found out, this is harmonic substance, then the question was answered for me. It didn't take a long time. But this is me sitting down for as long as I have before we're overrun. Just trying to figure out the secret. So, okay, so willpower, and then. Hellbreaker songs, perception songs, and then Arcana and Discordic magic.
I think that makes sense.
Do I get Skovrane magic since the as well, like because the fact that it's this world is relevant to the spores, right?
Yeah, I don't know that we really decided too much of what
the difference between these two
is in Skovrane, but this is inherently just harmonic and discordic interaction.
If I remember correctly, I think the only thing we decided was it had something to do with hive mind stuff.
Right, there was a lot of like communicating between groups and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this is Skovrane specific.
Okay.
So probably not that one. But yeah.
Yeah, because I think isn't there a faction that like bonds beasts to them or whatever? So
I think so. There's lots of like mutating and otherwise, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I have 2, 4, 6, 7. and then bathed in radiance and mission briefing. So
11.
11, yeah.
The plus die fade if you didn't count it.
I think I did count it, yeah.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So now I'll do your difficulty first if you like. Actually, you should do yours first. Yeah, the active I guess goes first because they have die fate. So that's probably
makes sense.
It's a little backwards from what we're used to, but I think it's probably the best.
That makes sense. Yeah. 11d6. Here we go.
Yeah.
Only 6 successes.
Well, you got
I did get a 6 on the die fate. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we can decide. Well, I'll work first, and then you can decide what that means. So and he's got the seed, and then this new version of so before the game had advantage as a thing where basically just you hit harder if you had advantage in the situation, sort of narratively. That doesn't a thing because that's not how that works anymore. It's not how increasing damage works anymore. And then so instead advantage is just going to be a situation where you get more dice. And because this is a very difficult thing to figure out, I'm going to give him dice when he's resisting you, basically because there's a natural difficulty to this also. Basically, if this was a normal thing, I would have just made the difficulty higher, but because it's an opposed roll, I'm just giving him extra dice. Yep. So that's either 2 or 4. I'm giving him 2. So that it's not going to make much difference, I don't think. But just so you're aware of how that new version of the thing works.
Yeah, when I'm rolling 11d6.
Yeah, that's hard to beat. I mean, this is what you built your character for. What?
Whoa, that was pretty good.
That was nutty luck. But you can spend a point to reroll your fails if you'd like. Since this is an important thing.
And also I need to mark these clock.
Yes, and you also want to make as much use of the Bathe the Radiance as possible because you're either gonna have to redo it or it'll end.
Yeah,
because it's a temporary one.
Bummer. So, okay. So what can I do with the die fate again?
Oh yeah, so you can either give yourself another.
Can I just add another success?
You can. Yeah, you can either add a success. You can mark a stress on his assets, which he doesn't have, or you could
add something narrative.
Have a narrative. Suggest a narrative twist.
I think I'll just add a success.
Trigger drawback, which he doesn't.
Yeah. So I'll add a success with the die fate, and then I will spend a bond point to reroll my fails. I have to spend that on a trait.
Yes. I'm sure you have one for this. This is your
magical mystery investigator.
There you go. That'll work.
I pulled up in my mystery machine and
you got 5 fails there. Yeah, right.
5 fails, okay.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll 5 more. And add a +1 to it.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna put a 1 in here so we remember that you have a free one. So you're actually at 8.
Yeah.
5. So that's
still not very good.
3, which is still enough to get a great success.
And great success lets me mark another one, so I can mark 2 on this clock.
Yeah, you can mark an additional segment. You can mark 1 segment of roll a stress clock, which doesn't matter, or create a temporary 1d6 tag.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna mark the 2. Whatever.
So you would get 3
segments
because you start with 2. 2 is the standard, and then you get 3.
Nice.
But I'm just gonna leave it that way. I'd say technically, so he's defending it, and when you defend a progress clock of any sort, including your own, you can spend your stress clocks to protect it. One pip of stress.
I mean, you do it if you want to. I mean, this is.
I guess he does have stats, so he could. So
yeah, stats. Yeah.
Yeah, he is going to. His thing is wrong, but whatever. I guess this is the right thing for now. So yeah, he spends a point of his willpower stress. And I think narratively, he's actually going to leverage this a seed planted thing.
Of course.
And he's just trying to you're getting subconscious. I don't even, and maybe we can make a roll to see if you want to see if you notice it, but he's basically giving you subconscious, impressions, right? To try and
throw me off the trail.
Yeah. Put your thoughts in the wrong. He's basically whispering into your mind, right? But in a way that isn't audible. You would have to search your soul to recognize the temptation in front of you, kind of thing. Yes, I think that sort of narratively, that's the hook he's using here. I don't know necessarily he'd be able to use willpower for this otherwise, but that's what he wants to use in that. I think he's able. So you do still get 2. But he basically uses his stress to reduce the 3rd to.
Okay.
Yeah. You can only spend 1 stress and it only reduces it by 1. So a successful attack, I think, will technically always do at least 1 damage because you do, and you inflict 2, the most you can reduce is 1. So, yeah.
Okay, so Bathe in Radiance goes away.
Yep.
And Overrun gets filled in 1 more.
So,
so what does that look like when we're on the edge of being overrun? How's that going?
He can't talk to you, so you see the little thing wriggling, and like this isn't like his like as the light fades because you're focusing on this thing, right? You see him sort of wriggling in like an almost like a satisfied way, like he's excited for what's about to happen to you. And on that, like with that, the sort of the sound fades out. And I think even you see his eye sort of wriggle towards the entrance or like, roll over towards that way. And when you look over, there's like they've gotten into the clearing enough that like, basically there are a few of your scouts who are like physically holding them back while the rest are firing in from their like elevated positions. But they basically had to like put their bodies in the way now to like keep them from getting there. And I think Kai even turns, what does he call you?
Captain.
It's just I can't do a Japanese accent, so just gonna he's an English sounding Japanese guy. It's like, Captain, we don't have much more time. There doesn't seem to be an end of them, and if we get out, we have to push through them. There's only one way out.
And Zion takes a glance over, sees the dire situation, and he says, I'm close, Kai. I can feel it. Just give me a little longer.
We'll do what we can. And he turns around and like you see him, he pulls out his he has a spirit weapon, like a bow,
spirit bow. Yeah. So he has just like I remember you described it as basically a
string,
a rigid string that when or maybe it's just a string that becomes
a string that
rigid,
turns rigid, and like a bow forms around it.
Yeah, bow forms around it.
Yeah. And so he obviously has already had it out. But yes, we see him holding a sort of ghostly spectral bow. Or I guess the string is solid because it's real, but the rest of it is ghostly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he's firing ghostly arrows at them. Very cool.
I'm excited to go to that planet.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
It's fun to see little like nods to the other stuff that we've come up with that we haven't seen yet.
Yep.
All right. So I guess technically it's his turn, but I don't think really has anything. No, I guess he's going to try and like, so like this isn't going to be a permanent thing. So he's going to pick temporary no matter what. Like he's going to have to pick temporary. He's basically going to try and like get the seed that he planted to like, he's going to try and leverage it in like a immediate but more effective way that will fade very quickly. But he's going to try and basically like, burst some effect out of this. Cool. Which I guess is just creating an advantage here. He's just trying to slow you down until his buddies get here.
I like the way we're doing this because before when I was thinking about like, okay, we have Arlo and Mordecai here. Like, why wouldn't they be like, why am I the only character here? But it makes sense because we're just abstracting everything else and assuming that both Mordecai and Arlo are necessary to fight off whatever's happening in the background. Right. So only I have to can do this.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. So
it would have been nice to have Mordecai's dice though for some of this stuff.
Yeah. Although his dice are mostly for killing things, and
but he has like enchanting and stuff. So he might know a little bit.
Oh, sorry, you said Mordecai. I thought you were saying Arlo.
Yeah, Mordecai. No.
Yeah, that would have probably been helpful. He's going to spend one of his willpower stress here to get 2 extra dice, which I can't mark on his thing because I don't have the right thing. Whatever. And all right, so he's got. I forgot to die fate. Yeah, greater than 4. Okay. Wait, what? Why did it? Oh, it didn't do a space. Genius. All right. Thought it looked weird. I wasn't sure why. 4 successes, and you get the success from die fate.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
So
what am I rolling in response
this
here?
is basically like a test of your willpower or your
Willpower.
steel, right? He's basically trying to like this is the audible whispering in your head kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he's kicking it up a notch. So yeah, this is about steel and
Okay, so willpower. Can I argue for Hellbreaker songs and Perception songs since I'm actively using those right now to be able to notice this stuff in time and be able to react to it? Or
yeah, I think that makes sense.
right, like I have it running currently, and yeah.
And I think that it makes sense that would assist you.
It's also harmonic magic, right? So like,
right,
yeah. There's always like an ambient kind of effect that those have too. Okay, so I got 2, 4. Can I do Arcana and Discordic magic since that's
I
the
think
thing
so.
that's affecting me? Cool.
Yeah.
So 6, 7, and that's probably it. Okay. 76, 4. So you got 4. Okay, and his die
add
was a
one
3
because what?
And his IFA was a 3 because
yes. So you get a success automatically. So you can. I don't know if can you do greater than 4 plus 1? Will it give you?
That's what I'm gonna try. We'll see.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. It worked. Yeah, it did.
Nice.
So yeah, you just beat him. So the resist is also a move, which is what you're doing technically. It just hasn't mattered yet because no one succeeded at it.
Yeah.
But when you get a standard success for resist, you deny your opponent their intent. So you've denied him his intent. He does. Yeah. So basically, I think this is kind of nonsensical whispering in your head, right? He's just trying to delay things.
Sure.
And so he's probably just like, yeah, even if he's not touching you, you hear his voice. And again, you know that this something happened already, so this isn't super like surprising to you, but you hear him say, there's no way out now. I told you you would drown. And he probably is like, there's still a chance if you free me.
I think I don't say anything in my mind or otherwise.
Just trying to distract.
I'm just gritting my teeth.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that happens.
Not gritting my
teeth,
I'm just singing.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, right? You know that he's just BSing you at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe he meant it before, but at this point, this is a Tanner, and he's just trying to get you to stop long enough that he can kill you. Yeah. And so, you're able to just ignore his nonsense. And yeah, wait. I think that fills it, right? Because that was the end of that round, which I think was the last one, right? Is that right? Now it fills? This one was already filled, right?
No. This was on the 3rd.
That was the 3rd. Oh, that was his action on the 3rd?
I'm almost positive, yeah. Because the only thing I did, because I on the 3rd, I did... Because, on the 2nd, he planted a seed. No, I'm trying to remember.
So on the first one, you, I don't remember.
On the first overrun, I knocked Fungal God Weakness out of the park. Second,
yes,
I set up temporary radiance. No, wait.
You got temporary radiance for free.
Second, I had a conversation with him, and then he planted a seed.
Yeah.
Right.
And then third,
yeah. So this is still 3rd because
attacked and things.
Third, I attacked, and I had used radiance and attacked, right? Because I got that as a simple action, and then this is his response to me right now.
Okay.
It's still 3rd, so now it's going in the 4th slot that I'm now going to. Yep.
Right. And I think I may have marked one of those at the beginning of a turn, at the end or something, which might be why it confused me. Okay. Cool. All right. So you're up. I'm got one more shot.
I think I might try to do the same thing, right? I might try to do the tag, hoping that I can make it a simple action and then knock it out of the park.
Yeah. And if you need to commit stuff, you can spend stress to get 2 more dice. You can
just do that then.
And then of course you have your bonds points as well. So
actually, I'm just gonna do advance. I think. I don't want to risk. I'll just like spend stress and stuff to get extra here if I need to.
And to be clear, you have to beat him. You have to get a great success on him, or you'll only fill 1 because he's gonna spend stress and reduce.
I'm planning on just like piling everything in. Okay, so I'm basically just doing the same thing, right? I'm just
and to be fair, I guess I should probably assemble his pool at the same time, because like if you roll badly, I might be like, oh, I'm not going to spend stress, right? So I guess that wouldn't really be fair. So he's also going to do that. It's really the only decision I should have to make before we roll. So just for fairness' sake, he's also going to spend his, I think, his last point of willpower. Wait. No, he won't do that, because then he won't have anything to reduce the damage if it comes in.
And you have to choose to spend stress beforehand?
Yes, before the roll. And I don't think he has any other believable avenues to delay you here, so he can't spend stress from anything else.
Okay.
So actually, he's not going to do that because he needs it in case you succeed.
How does this work then? What am I doing?
Stress? So at the do I not have? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Here's Skovrane. Here we go. So at the bottom of your sheet, below it, there's a bunch of clocks.
Yep.
So you have 2 unspent slots in your fortitude. So all you have to do is grab the one that's got 3 marked of the red highlighted there, and just copy and paste that into your thing. So that we know that it's that's
okay.
The slow way that we fill clocks here.
So when does stress get given back?
You have to have time to basically
then
like a short rest.
So I actually it was already at 3 on my sheet, and I replaced it because I was like, why does this have 3 marked? I was like, shouldn't it just have 2? So this will actually put me to 4. Does that matter?
It just means you can't spend any more.
It's just spend any more. Okay.
So if someone hits you and you can't use an excuse to use one of the other ones, you just don't get to do that. Which most of the time, if you can call fortitude, you can probably call a Q&E, so you'll probably be all right.
Am I spending it on fortitude? Is that what I'm doing this on?
Oh, that's a good question.
Spend it on something else?
What are you trying to do? You're trying to learn stuff? Probably not.
I'm
probably
just trying to willpower. Okay,
I don't know why I was talking about fortitude there. Sorry,
No,
I just assumed.
Well, I still have that marked at 3 at least.
Okay.
So.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that's at 3 too.
And so then I'm getting two extra dice for that.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I think I have everything. I had 7 with all my normal stuff, 8 including the die fate, 8 with mission briefing, and then extra 2 for stress. So I'm at 10.
Sounds right.
Anything else that I'm forgetting that I could be adding to this?
I don't think so.
Okay. I guess I can spend a bomb point if I really need to. All right. Got 1 left. Oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, fortunately, you can re-roll it. But let's see. I mean, it's almost certainly necessary, but let's see. So we've got the one from a seed. He's going to...
Don't I have a deeds point, David? Can I just auto-succeed?
No. But I mean, honestly, call-ons are pretty much an auto-succeed.
Not always.
That's true.
We had a character in Death and Madness spend fate, use persona, and use a call on. Ended up using 15 dice against literally like an ob 3 or something crazy, and still not get it. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever failed a roll where I used a call on. Call-ons are busted. Yeah. I've considered changing it actually to be this is something I thought would be cool where each. This is what I was thinking when dice had when I was like doing the d8s d10s was each of your traits would have a die, a high die. And you could spend it whenever you wanted when it made sense. And then in order to refresh it, you had to compel. Either that one or any of them. I don't know. Some traits are hard to compel. So I was like, when you take a compel, you can refill any of your spent dice. Because it's a little less insane. But right now, this is the way it works. But we'll see. Here's his roll. He died you.
Nice.
But honestly, you could probably crush him. So
all right. So yeah, I'll spend a bomb point on magical mystery investigator again, which I can do, right? I can just spend on the same thing.
Yep.
Okay. And then I get to reroll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice.
Yeah. You need to get 3 because you have to beat him by 3 to do. Yeah.
Oh, I got 4.
Nice. There you go. All right.
that had me worried there for a second.
Yeah.
Cool.
I assume you're gonna do 1 more damage so that you actually do the 2. And yeah.
I'm just gonna fill this clock. That's what I'm doing.
Perfect. Alrighty. So okay, what I guess.
So I get a clue about permanent death.
Oh, that's right. It's just okay. So Just for the sake of the clue, right? So I'm going to say you start singing your light song again, because that was kind of one of the things was the twist earlier was that that was the right direction to go in, right? So, and I think it is. I think we can learn some stuff from this. So you start singing the song again, sort of after this, right? You know, as a result of this, and we see that same, like, he gets pressed against the ground, and trying to think, because in order for this to work, I think you have to kill him.
Okay.
Is that something you would do at this point? Because the other thing is that this is like the end of it. Like they start to break through your guys' line. Like, you got to leave. So what does that look like?
I was gonna say, is this me basically thinking I figured something out and then killing him to check? Is that the idea?
I think so, because I mean, this was a successful thing. So I mean, either way, it'll benefit you. I guess it's up to you whether or not this is like I have to go now. I didn't figure it out. We just got to end this and go. I'm not going to leave you alive. Or
I think this would be Zion thinking he figured it out and killing him to try to see if it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to kill him anyway, but that's probably his main motivation here is.
And you said something earlier that was pretty close anyways, that you had a theory for. So like, cool. I think that makes sense, right? If you were thinking that, it makes sense that Zion's thinking that. So, all right. So yeah, what does that look like? Kai turns around and he says, "We have to go now. They're breaking through. If we don't push through now, we're not going to be able to."
Yeah. I take out my machete, and maybe Kai even thinks, oh, "Okay, cool. We're heading out now." And instead of like turning to rush at them, I just stab into the tannoy below me.
Yeah. So what happens when you do that is there's like this black smoke basically that comes out of him, a visible smoke. So first of all, he says something like, you know, as you go to stab him, he says, he's got to have something dramatic to say.
Yeah, of course. In my mind, I assume, because he has the seed planted.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He goes, "I will enjoy watching you burn in your own fires," and then you stab him.
I was gonna have a response to that. Yeah. And Zion says, "I've already been baptized in fire, demon." And then
nice. Yeah. So what happens is you stab him, in your brain, you hear screaming, and we can go ahead and delete your hindrance, because I think even though he's a demon, he'll come back. Like, his physical connection has been severed. I'm not really sure. Okay. This isn't like Saragon level. This isn't possession, right?
Sure.
It's a physical thing, so kind of.
Yeah, I mean, unless I actually got. I mean, I don't know. I could see it. Like, I physically touched the thing, and the spores are what like make things happen. It's possible I just got some spores in me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he did, and they were connected to him.
Oh, they connected to him, though. Okay.
But I think because his body died, and this is, again, not like a spiritual thing, like, even if he comes back in a new body, I don't think he'll have the right thing. If nothing else, I think the spores in you die, basically, right? Is I guess what I'm getting at. If they didn't, then I think he'd still be able to communicate with them, but it doesn't really make sense to me that they'd survive him dying.
Okay.
So you see he is slouched, like, there's this weird, and this doesn't happen every time you kill a Tannerin, right? Like, normally there's no visible thing, but there's a visible smoke, almost like a shadow cast by the light here, right? That you're only able to see because there's light, or harmonic light, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. This smoke sort of pours out, and it sort of fills this space where he was, but your radiant song is like bubbling it almost. But you see that it like, it's like pushing against it. Like, it's like trying, like, you see your sort of like aura there is sort of like buckling a little, like it's like expanding, like this is trying to get out. There's a pressure building here, and then you see sort of like through almost like pores in your radiant light, right? The smoke starts to pour out, and it starts to escape.
Is this something that's usually visible, or is it only because of this radiant thing? Okay,
it's only because of the radiant light. That's sort of the shadow cast by light thing, but not any light. It's you can only see it because of this, right?
Because of the harmonic. The harmonic light is casting the discordic shadow. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so because of that, you're seeing this interaction, and you can tell that it was containing it, but something about it was not enough, and it seeps out.
Sure.
right? And you
But
see
it's,
him.
I'm on the right
first off.
track, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
And
you
I
know
think I
that
probably I have a machete. I probably didn't stab him. I probably just slashed across the eyeball. But yeah,
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
I just thinking about that.
And then it sort of just like goes up and like dissipates, and like as it goes out of your radiant light, like it very quickly evaporates. Like you don't see it anymore. It becomes like non-physical very quickly, almost immediately after it comes out of your radiant light thing. And at that point, there are zombie-headed, fungal-headed zombies pouring through.
Zombie-headed fungus.
Zombie-headed fungus. There's an idea. The plants turn into people zombies.
We did reverse Dungeons and Dragons on Thursday, and now we're doing reverse Last of Us.
Yeah, it turns out if a zombie bites a plant, it becomes a zombie person. It sprouts a head. I saw that you said you were doing reverse D&D, and I think I saw a third-party module that came out for running monsters and like building a dungeon. Is that what you were using?
Yeah. No. I did look around for something like that, but anything I found was too complicated for what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We just wanted to do a quick, like, funny one shot, I think. But I think it would be the actual like tower defense stuff we did do was actually pretty fun. And I think I would want to do something like that more, like as a more dedicated one shot, maybe sometime in the future.
The idea of playing evil creatures who build the dungeon because like their existence is putrid and everything tries to murder them, and so like they kind of have to do that, like, and then trying to defend it against people.
Yeah,
I would love that. I love games like Dungeon Keeper and stuff. And there was a pretty solid third-party thing I saw where using a lot of similar stuff for 5e, and you like have minions placed in traps in rooms. Anyways,
send me
cool.
if you find that link again, send me that.
I'll look for it. Yeah.
We had fun. It was mostly goofy. We had it basically be like, you're part of the monstrous council you're on probation because you accidentally killed the dragon who was in charge of this dungeon before, and now you have to like defend it, the magical artifacts that are here against adventurers. And
I like it. Yeah. That's cool.
It's fun.
That's pretty great. Okay, sorry. So I think what we see is
fungus-headed zombies come through.
Yeah, and we see Arlo, like, Arlo, now do it. And he like comes over to you to like, we gotta go. And we see Arlo from his perch. He like does, he pulls out like an extra large arrow, shoots it. There's this big swath that it burns into the zombies. And so you can just barely like there's a path for you to go. It'll be dangerous, but you can go through it. If you leave now, otherwise you'll be swarmed.
Is there a role involved to just go through?
I think so. Not necessarily. Like, I don't really think you're gonna like get trapped here and killed, but I think basically they're gonna make like an attack on you as you're going through.
So can this be? I mean, I think the way Zion would be doing this, because he's not a fighter himself, is he's doing the leadership thing, right? He's like, okay, I'm singing the combat song, and we're all rushing, like, ride for wrath, ride for ruin, and the world's ending, right? Like,
right? There you go. So do you want to create an advantage first before you tear out, or do you want to just have to be your?
I don't know if we have time, right? Like, I think I think this is just the role to lead everyone out, right?
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking
that makes sense. Yeah, we'll just do that.
I don't have any bond points, so I'm thinking presence.
Definitely. And
with
you get your
Hellbreaker scouts and monster hunting. Yep. So that's 4 Hellbreaker songs and combat songs. So that's 6, and probably not any Arcana, right? Because it's just random mooks. I don't know if there's any. Do I get anything for Discordic magic since they're fungal zombies, or?
I don't think so, because they're not like casting Discordic magic at you necessarily, and you're not like leveraging that in any specific way. So.
Yep. 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay. Yeah. I just have 7. Do I get mission briefing on this? Probably not. It's not. Regular zombies weren't necessarily on.
Probably not. I think because the Halo thing was your mission.
Yeah, that was the target. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's just 76.
Yes, that sounds right.
First one's Die of Fate. I got a 2.
Okay. Righty. Oh,
so that gives them an extra success, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I got 4 though.
I'm trying to think of what it was.
So yeah, if you add a +1 to the end of that, it will it will give you an extra success.
All right, so this is, I guess. It's probably just.
Man, I really brought this whole thing to the wire.
Yeah. Let's see.
As soon as I looked at like, oh, there's 2 different clocks, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get both of these, but not the first one immediately.
Yeah, that was good. I think I'm going to just do that. I guess technically you're resisting their attack. I think is how it's working, but we'll keep your die of fate and everything. It's just that because I think they're going to try and hurt you as you're leaving.
Well, yeah, I mean, my intention basically is to lead everyone out.
Right.
But again, I guess you're right. They're probably.
But yeah, just because mechanically, if they resist you, what it means is you don't get that and you get stuck and you die. So I guess it'd probably make more sense, or maybe. Then I guess they'd make an attack on you, but that's kind of what we're doing anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was assuming it was an overcome.
I guess, yeah. That's very like pass or fail. So I guess the idea was, I was kind of thinking you're going to get through them. I just want to see how much if you get hurt, right? Sure. If it costs you anything. But I guess it's up to you how you want to.
I think I was doing overcome. I mean, like the only way I fail and like don't make it out. Like I think the idea would be is if we don't make it out, we have to fight here, right? We have to actually kill all this horde before we actually.
True. I guess I wasn't really thinking that was like a good idea, but I guess you could try it.
No, it's certainly not a good idea.
Or I guess you could do it, could chase, but I guess but the idea is you wouldn't be able to get out.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense.
I think it's not ideal for me, but I think that's probably what makes more sense.
Right. Do that. And then specific for that. So +1. Oof.
Yikes. That's not good.
No.
I don't have any bond points either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess okay, hold on. Because I guess there might be a compel here that we could have done.
Any other mechanics that we can
I guess honestly, I probably should have compelled you too close to the sun to touch the thing. Instead you just did it because you're a good player, but that is what I guess I call a self-compel. You're doing something that's not a good idea.
Yeah. So I get a bond point then?
Because it's so you probably should have had one.
Yeah, that makes sense. If I fail this, then I deserve my fate.
Yeah, you only need to get one more. Well, technically, you need to get one more to tie at least.
Since the does the die of fate count as a dice I can reroll here?
That's a good question. So it won't change the result. So I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's separate from the thing.
That makes sense. Yep. That makes sense to me. All right, I can roll. I'm rolling 2 dice. I need to just get one. I can live with just getting one.
Yeah.
Nope. 2 snake eyes. Well, I think maybe we just like stop the session there, right?
Yeah,
like
that
sure,
and conveniently we have all of the people here, so whoever joins us can help, and whoever doesn't can be like knocked unconscious.
Yeah. So maybe what we see, I mean, you can obviously, this you're the GM, but I'm imagining what we see, right, is like he burns that swath there, and we start to make a break for it. But unfortunately, some sort of giant fungal zombie steps into the swath, right? Steps into the clearing that he made, and suddenly it's like, oh, there's no way we're getting out without fighting that thing.
For sure.
Nice.
I'm half tempted to just make it another
Malavim or whatever.
Malavim, but you haven't fought any yet, so it'd be weird for there to be another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll figure something out. But yeah, something was you see a huge.
We see the shadow of something. Yeah. Right. There you go. Perfect.
And then so I think. Maybe Kai turns to you and says, I think it might be too late. And
we see my face just fall. I'm like, oh no, I've led my men to death, right? Like I waited too long.
Right. Oh man.
Cool.
Good stuff.
So there's goals and stuff, right? That we mark up the end here.
So the Malavim can tell us more than just how to kill spores. It can teach me its secrets. I think it that's pretty solid. I think you can call it done. So that means basically what happens is that fills another one, but because you completed it.
So as a reminder, we'll find the defiled Malavim and learn its weaknesses was the main thing that I was doing here.
Okay.
That's the figure out what the weakness thing is.
Right.
This one was based on my elders tell me the Discordia should not be trifled with, but it must be mastered to be destroyed. So did I learn something about the demons?
You did learn that there was nothing special about this possession.
That's true. I did make a roll against that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
If nothing else, you definitely get XP for it. I don't know if we want to say it's completed or not.
I don't know if it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Because technically, at least the way it works currently, once you hit 3, it doesn't fill anymore. So you kind of want to complete it by then. I don't know. I don't really like the idea of wasting.
Yeah, I mean, it can teach me its secrets is kind of vague. I don't know. Up to you, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, if you just change it to a secret, then we can say it's done.
Yeah, I mean, that was my intention, I think.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I mean, it's not like you're going to be pursuing any other spores anytime soon, like right away, right? So I feel like this makes sense. Do I get an XP on
just
the same thing? Yeah,
the drive then.
Yep, go ahead and mark one of those. And yeah, it wasn't just technically like a progress to the. It wasn't for the same thing, right? This was a different thing you learned. So there you go. And you also did the other one, the bottom.
Yep.
Without relying on my inborn nobility. I don't know if there is anything specific about that came up. Did it? You think?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, because you did the main
tried. Yeah, I tried at the very end, but I don't know if.
But I don't know if not relying on your inborn nobility was part of that necessarily.
Yeah, I think I failed at that, if anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, you did try to lead, but I think you kind of did rely on your sort of inherent. Yeah. So we'll call that one same. But that means you get 6 XP. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know what that means yet.
That's fine. Yeah, we can figure it out.
There's nothing to buy yet. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Sweet. Well, if you have maybe 20 more minutes here, we could do a after show and talk about mechanics and stuff and how we're feeling about bonds.
Agreed. I'd like that.
Cool. Let's go ahead and end here then for the stream. Thanks for watching, y'all. We got some people in chat, so that was fun.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I think even we found a way, even if the random people we've gotten to join us aren't there. I think it's okay to, given the mechanics of the game, it's been easy to abstract things that need to be abstracted. So
yeah, the combat systems are pretty abstract in general, which I think does help that. Yeah.
Yep.
You can kind of just ignore whatever you don't want.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. If you're a patron, look out for that after show. Otherwise, adios.